Welcome to the very messy storage slash studio back half of the store space. Yeah, let's make some Halloween decorations out of junk. We're gonna start this spooky craft train with a classic, the Fabric Ghost, usually used with like a white sheet. I am using a cotton scrap lace, so whatever you got around the house works just fine. Fold it in a diagonal to get kind of a rough square shape, and then cut it up. It doesn't really have to be a perfect square. It can be whatever you want. You can do a circle. I don't care. Just a hunk of fabric. And then take some newspaper or some scrap craft brown paper shopping bag, whatever, crunch it up into a ball, put it in the middle, and then do a little scrunch up right underneath that ball. And then you've got a little neck space there. And then you're gonna cut a piece of yarn, any length there, just enough to get it wrapped around the neck a few times, because you want to have a nice little tight section so the kind of piece of newspaper doesn't fall out. So wrap it around a few times, make a cute little bow. You can put like a little fancy ribbon there if you want to give it like a bow tie, or maybe you hang a necklace there, give it a cute little piece of jewelry, whatever you want. Now, because I'm using lace, there's already holes at the top of the head of my ghost here. And I'm going to use that to thread some yarn through so I can hang it. If you don't have lace, that's fine. You can use a needle and some thread to poke a hole through it and sew through, or you can just like cut a hole through the top of it and put some yarn through that way. We're not trying to be super fancy, you know, it's a decoration after all. Then kind of tie a little knot off, and there you go, spooky ghost. And you're showing it off camera like a pro. And then repeat it as many times as you deem necessary to make a cute little ghost family. Next up in the spooky rotation of crafts is bats from egg cartons. We're gonna cut up our egg carton, save that lid because we're gonna use it as a paint tray later, and then divide up the little egg sections into 4. So I wanna have like 3 pieces for each. So I'm gonna cut it in half one way, and then I'm gonna cut it in half the other. And this might take some time because it's a little finicky. Your hands kind of get in the way. And after we've got it all cut up, we're gonna draw in how we want our little bat, wings to go. You also don't need to draw it in if you don't want to. You can just wing it. Hey, bad pun. Then trim out your little sections. If you're doing this with kids, you wanna make sure you have blunt scissors with them, short scissors so nobody hurts themselves. You got your cute little bat. And it's time to paint. I'm gonna put down some newspaper because this is gonna get messy. And then using our little tray that we made before, gonna throw some paint into it. I'm using a black acrylic here. And then I'm painting all of it, inside and out, because I wanna be able to see that it's black underneath if we're hanging it from up high. And then with a little bit of white paint, I'm gonna put in some cute little eyeballs. You can also paint in like little fangs if you want to, or if you want to get really fancy, maybe there's like blood coming from your bat's fangs, or I don't know how gruesome you want to get, have fun with it. After they're all dry, you want to go ahead and poke a hole in the top of the bat. And then I'm going to take some of that extra carton cardboard that I had before and just take a little piece, like maybe like a little 1/2-inch chunk, and fold it in half. And that's gonna be our stopper inside the bat so that the string doesn't pull through. You can also glue the string in if you want to. It just takes a little bit more time, and this just makes it easier so I don't have to have as many supplies. So we're gonna tie our string around our little stopper, and then we're gonna feed the yarn through our hole that we poked. And then you've got a cute little bat. Hang it up to fly in your window. And finally, framed spider webs. I'm using old stretcher bars here. You can use a picture frame, whatever you've got around. You can even make a frame if you want to. And I painted mine to make it look kind of coppery. And we're gonna be stapling lengths of yarn around the frame. I'm using a staple gun just because it goes a little faster, but you can also glue this down if you want to. Just make sure it's really nice and secure. And I'm gonna go across the frame about 8 different times, trying to have the middles roughly cross around the same spot. Now I'm not gonna trim the last length because I want to have that continue from that point. So it's like our little starting point. So don't trim the last length when you staple it. And then we're gonna go around tying a knot every time we cross one of our sections here, our little structure sections. Now I like to do the single knot because then I can adjust where it sits on that line. So if you want a little slack and you want it to droop, you can push it down. Or if you want it tighter, you can push it up. And we're just gonna go all the way around tying single knots as we go. Maybe taking a break to make a cute little spider to sit into our web, you know, have a little friend. And then at any time you run out of yarn, you can always just tie on a new little piece and keep moving it around. Adjust your tension and then add your little spider friend and call it good. Happy Halloween and happy crafting.